Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, I have brought you several videos, countless videos on the silliness that goes on within the Nigerian space, but I don't think I have ever brought you a story, a narrative, a video that is as foolish as the content of this particular video. Guys, I bring you this: why we deliberately shut down Nigeria's refineries, and this is a headline attributed to NNPC. So before we get into the details of this particular story and this crass ridiculousness just from the headline, we have to put at the back of our mind that Nigeria is the top 7 largest oil exporting country in the world. So Nigeria is number 7 in terms of oil exporting, but then that oil exporting, of course, has not then led them to have working refineries to cater for local consumption. And here is now the lead body that oversights that oil industry coming up with this headline: why we deliberately shut down Nigeria's refinery, a headline attributed to the NNPC. So now let's engage. The Group Managing Director of Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Mr. Male Kyari, on Thursday said the corporation deliberately shut down the nation's refineries because they no longer make sense to be operated. The GMD disclosed this when he appeared before the House Representatives Committee on Petroleum Upstream in Abuja. He said that the NNPC was unable to supply crude oil to the refineries. According to him, it is practically impossible to run pipelines at their optimum capacity. For instance, to run Kaduna and Warri refineries, you need to deliver 170,000 barrels of oil per day so that both will operate at 70% capacity, he said. Kyari said that at the moment, it only had over 5,000 kilometers of pipelines with 15 fuel depots, which according to him must be protected to forestall the activities of vandals. And I can tell you today that except the Atlas Cove in Ibadan line and also the Port Harcourt to Aba line, none of these pipelines is serviced. We cannot flow product into these lines. The cheap one is to say they have aged, but the real reason is that the level of activities of vandals on those pipelines is gross, monumental, and profound. At every point within a month, we fix 80 vandal points. The option is to shut them down, and the result of having one depot is what we have seen in Lagos, he said. The GMC said that the activities of vandals made it impossible for pipelines to be operated, adding that from January to June, it had lost petroleum products close to 43 billion naira. Kyari said that to protect the pipelines, the NNPC had to engage the service of security agencies to curtail the activities of vandals. He urged the House of Representatives to urgently pass the Petroleum Industry Bill (PIB), adding that the passage would encourage investors into the sector. Kyari said that by the end of December, there would be hope for the petroleum sector, adding that the NNPC would declare dividends to Nigerian people. He promised to run the corporation with transparency and accountability, adding that the NNPC had published its audited report of 2018 and 2019, which according to him had not happened before. So I mean, I don't even know where to pick this up and where to go with it, but it's just it's the crass stupidity, and it's just let's just go back to basics with this one and start with the refineries and where they are located. So the bulk of the oil in Nigeria, in fact all of the oil in Nigeria, are found in the Niger Delta region. I think we all know that. So the Niger Delta region is a vast land, and of course now they are instead of building those refineries, and I think we are all agreed on what I'm about to say. So rather than building the refineries right where the oil is found, which is exactly in the Niger Delta region, they are intending then to pipe it all the way from the Niger Delta region all the way to Kaduna for reasons that make sense, that make no sense. So it's just the crass stupidity and the foolishness of it. So now look at the danger points of all of that. Right from that Niger Delta region all the way to Kaduna, this oil is in danger. It can be polluted, it can be stolen, and oil, of course, imagine you replace oil, substitute oil with gold. Let's say it was gold that they are piping from Niger Delta all the way to Kaduna. Imagine if 1 grain of gold would reach that Kaduna, when people will be chopping it up all the way through, taking as much risk as they can to ensure that they intercede that thing and cut it midstream so that they can loot their own. So crass stupidity. Of course, those refineries should never have been in Kaduna in the first place, setting aside the expense of building a pipeline to Kaduna, and when on top of that the expense of securing that pipeline to Kaduna, given of course now the example of the vandals that this guy is saying, and these vandals have to be factored in when you are transiting oil in a country that is starving. Then you have to factor, of course, that people would want to steal it all the way through that transit point. So you have to factor that in. So you have to factor security against vandals. You also have to factor for wear and tear and maintenance. So you are factoring for wear and tear and maintenance of hundreds of kilometers of pipeline running all the way from the Niger Delta region all the way to Kaduna. So where is the sense in that? Is really the question. The sense in that would be to have those refineries exactly where they should work. So those mistakes were made, of course, in the military era, and of course they are mistakes attributable to the twin gods that were worshipping in Nigeria, which is religion and tribe. So these are these Fulani people now wanting to pipe oil all the way to their Kaduna space because they feel piping that oil gives them more ownership and gives them more control over the Nigerian space. So this is the stupidity that underpins it. So that stupidity has happened, and since those refineries were built in the 70s or thereabout, we have had countless wealth run through the Nigerian state. So why has that not now been corrected up to this point for the logic to happen, to trigger? Because if I know it and you know it, then they must know it, that you simply build then those refineries closer to where the oil is, so that the transit is not that much of a stretch, and securing it does not need the weight of security that it needs at the moment. It's just basic common sense. In fact, it's even something that doesn't even require any sense. It's just really a sequence. It's just like drawing breath. It's not, you don't even have to think about it. So now, rather than build those refineries, all of these monies that they spend on all of these things, maintenance, security, and then it not running, and then the embarrassment and all of these oil subsidies and whatnot, if you took 10% of that, they would have built that least 3-4 refineries out of all of the monies that they are looting. But then, of course, rather than build those refineries, the latest development now within the Nigerian space is that we are now going to be importing oil from Niger Republic, because, of course, they have gone and built refineries there. So if you think Niger Republic, then just think Fulanese. And if you think Fulanese, think Nigerian Fulanese. The Maina chap that everybody is looking for, that the court warrant is out to get, is a Fulani man from Niger Republic, and is hiding away in Niger Republic right now. All of the monies of Nigeria that's being funneled out through that northern corridor is going to Niger Republic, and because of course most of them, they have houses there anyway, that is really their country, because they are a majority in that space and everybody is of their own. So they come and work to loot Nigeria and go and build there. Imagine that Nigeria are importing oil from Niger Republic whilst we are spending 100 times what it requires to build refineries within our own space on annual oil subsidies. So this is just corruption now, and the brazenness now of this guy to come out to say that they are deliberately shutting down the refineries in Nigeria just tells you everything that you need to know about the Nigerian state. Conversations in the comment section, now you see it, the most stupid comments that I've yet read, but then of course this is something that we all know anyway, but then for them to come out and brazenly say it now, it's a new low now for these people, and by extension the Nigerian state. Come share thoughts, but before you come share those thoughts, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, come tell me then what you're making of this rather ludicrous, almost crass foolishness that this guy has spewed. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.